Hello to everyone, best regards to all of you. Good afternoon, dear tutor and dear classmates. This is the group 42 of English 3 course and composed by Jaminton, Nodier, Natalia, Sherely, and me, Nathaly. We will talk about the documentary of New York 15 years after 9/11 events, answering the question for this activity. Let's begin with the first participant, that is Natalia.
Thank you, Nathaly. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is number 1. Have Americans overcome the 9/11 events? So my answer will be the next. Americans' life has changed since the 9/11 events. Also, the United States has done its best to overcome the pain and look to the future with hope. There are some wounds that time cannot heal. And many people still live with the painful memory of that fateful day. We can talk, we can talk, for example, about the police officers, firefighters, and some other officers that were at ground zero working to rescue people. Many of them still today live with the consequences of this horror that they experienced. The video shows us, for example, that some police officers suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and because of that, they must take pills or go to therapy. As President Joe Biden said at the 20th anniversary commemoration of the attack, many children grew up without their parents, and many parents still mourn the loss of their sons. So it is very difficult to calculate the damage caused by the war, which does not distinguish victims. But however, despite the pain, many people in the US today prefer to heal through the forgiveness and trusting government to make decisions to avoid future wars. This would be my answer to this question.
We continue with the second student, and Nadia, please.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Nodier. To continue with the answer for the second question, are they still concerned about terrorist threats? Yes, Americans are still concerned about terrorist threats. This attack changed the four in the Americans think about their national security. This horrible experience, it made realize that they are susceptible and they was expelled of their fantasy world. Today, the Americans lived the limit and they are constantly anxious. They consider that the Muslim follow representing a threat. The Americans claim that their fear comes from of Islam because inside to the violence and associated to the terrorists symbolically with the Arabian and Muslim. Thank you.
Okay, and my question is, how have Muslim and American life changed after the 9/11 events? Okay, although the attacks of September 11 of 2001 occurred more than 2 decades ago, are still present in the hurting memory of the American people, and at the same time have left after effects of discrimination and exclusion in the life of Arabs and Muslims that reside in the United States and around the world. And this is terrorist attacks about the rise of Islamophobia. And despite efforts of the Islamic communities to prove that don't belong to jihadist group extremists, the Muslims of the United States and the world have experienced of last one in the life some type of discrimination for their religion and nationality. Relating then all time with the terrorists. More than 48% of Americans have a negative perceptions of Muslims, considering them as violent and dangerous persons. Even in March 2021, a United Nations special report say that many governments around the world have taken excessive anti-terrorist measures focused only on people professing the Islamic faith, defining them as high risk or high risk of radicalization persons. But the lives of Americans and Muslims have changed basis on the perception. Where Americans don't trust in Arabian and Muslim people, saying all time then as a people involved in the terrorism, and Muslim life in constant and fear of hate and discrimination because of their faith. Continue the student for Jaminton, please.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Jaminton Hurtado. I'm going to answer the fourth question. The government has created a space where it interacts with some victims of the attacks through conference about the war, do danger of practice against Muslims, and the same train use others to do to say to carry a good message for every citizen of the USA. In the moment we will be in this moment we will do some conference about worry and different problems of the person about this success in 9/11. This is all for me. Okay, thank you.
Okay, excellent. We continue with Sherely, that is the final students.
Thank you, Nathaly. My question is, what is the opinion of some politicians about war after 9/11? So some politicians and association thinks that the acts of violence affects everybody and affects the community that is affiliated with that terrible acts of violence, and there are negative ramifications because of that. So any acts of violence leaves very great traumas in the daily life of the people affected with these acts of violence, whether they are directly or indirectly related. And Americans can feel safe and secure after the 9/11, and so many people will accept increased government surveillance and more spending of national defense. So they think that in this case, 9/11 was created to cause trauma to all people, those effects. Thank you.
Okay, excellent job, guys, and thank you for your attention. And this is the finishes our presentation for the Group 42 of English 3 course.